Hello, today we're going to solve a problem that is often presented as a Harvard University entrance exam question. The problem asks us to find the value of x in the equation x plus 8 squared equals 64. This problem has gained a lot of popularity online, and our goal today is to tackle it using two common algebraic methods. In this video, you will learn how to solve this specific equation, and you'll become more familiar with two powerful techniques: the square root method and solving a quadratic equation by factoring. Our first method is often the simplest and most direct approach for this type of problem. We'll use the square root method. Here's our equation once again: x plus 8 squared equals 64. The core idea behind the square root method is to isolate the term that is being squared and then take the square root of both sides. As you can see, the term x plus 8 is already isolated on the left side of the equation. So our next logical step is to take the square root of both sides of the equation. This will help us undo the squaring operation. When we do this, it's crucial to remember that a squared number can have a positive or a negative root. For example, 4 squared is 16, and negative 4 squared is also 16. The square root of 16 is therefore both positive and negative 4. We must include both possibilities. On the left, the square root of x plus 8 squared is just x plus 8. On the right, the square root of 64 is 8. This gives us two separate linear equations. This is where those two possibilities we just discussed come into play. Our first equation is x plus 8 equals positive 8. Our second equation is x plus 8 equals negative 8. Let's solve the first one. We subtract 8 from both sides. X equals 8 minus 8, which gives us x equals 0. So our first answer is x equals 0. Now for the second equation. We subtract 8 from both sides again. X equals negative 8 minus 8, which results in x equals negative 16. This is our second answer. And there we have it. The two solutions to this equation are x equals 0 and x equals negative 16. We've solved the problem using the square root method. Now let's explore a second method to build our algebraic skills. This time, we'll solve the equation by rewriting it as a quadratic equation and then using factoring. We start with the same equation: x plus 8 squared equals 64. Our first step is to expand the squared term. Remember that squaring something means multiplying it by itself. So, x plus 8 squared is the same as x plus 8 times x plus 8. Now we need to multiply these two binomials together. We can use the FOIL method, which stands for first, outer, inner, last. First, we multiply the first terms, x times x, which is x squared. Then the outer terms, x times 8, which is 8. Next, the inner terms, 8 times x, which is also 8x. And finally, the last terms, 8 times 8, which is 64. Now we add all these parts together. This gives us x squared plus 8x plus 8x plus 64 equals 64. Combining the like terms, 8x plus 8x gives us 16x. So the equation becomes x squared plus 16x plus 64 equals 64. To solve a quadratic equation by factoring, we must set one side equal to 0. Let's subtract 64 from both sides. This simplifies to x squared plus 16x equals 0. Now, we need to factor this quadratic. This is a special type of factoring because there's a common factor in both terms. The common factor is x. We can factor out x, leaving us with x times the quantity x plus 16 equals 0. The zero product property tells us that if the product of two or more factors is 0, then at least one of those factors must be 0. So we have two possibilities here. Either x equals 0 or x plus 16 equals 0. Solving the second possibility, x plus 16 equals 0, we subtract 16 from both sides to get x equals negative 16. As you can see, using this second method, expanding the quadratic and factoring, we arrive at the exact same solutions. X equals 0 and x equals negative 16. So, which method is the best for this problem? Both are mathematically sound, but the square root method is generally more efficient in this specific case. It directly isolates the variable, giving us the answer in fewer steps. The factoring method required expanding the binomial, which led to a quadratic equation, and then factoring it. While a great way to practice those skills, it's a longer path here. Factoring is a more general tool for solving all sorts of quadratic equations, but it can be more involved. The key takeaway is that in mathematics, There are often multiple ways to solve a single problem. Developing fluency in different techniques allows you to choose the most appropriate and efficient method for any given challenge. Let's quickly recap what we've accomplished today. We successfully found the solutions to the equation x plus 8 squared equals 64. We did this by understanding two key methods: the square root method, which was very direct, and the factoring method, which provided excellent practice with quadratic equations. So, while this is sometimes presented as a Harvard-level problem, it's a straightforward application of fundamental algebra concepts. Thanks for watching and keep practicing.